held at the courtesy of CBD Secretariat, that BCH Secretariat, that they have offered the forum for us to use, and then we have discussed on the forum that the CBD has provided. The objective of the e-discussion was for us, FAO and CBD and then OECD, to provide a forum to all the people who wanted to discuss this issue, which countries can share their experiences and good practices and challenges in establishing or developing or improving effective national communication and coordination mechanism on the topic of biosafety. And then we had a very surprising pleasure that we had 327 people registered and then also participated. And we had received 50 concrete comments from the participants. And then this chart is showing the geographical distribution of the comment contributions. As you can see, we have quite a balanced distribution in terms of where we received the comments from. And then the discussion actually can be seen on the platform that the CBD has on the online discussion and with the address that is provided. During the e-discussion, this is our summary, but then it is needs and then the importance of this intersectoral communication mechanism is quite strongly confirmed. And then this mechanism should involve various authorities, because biosafety is in nature that it's a multidisciplinary topic, and then everybody agreed that the efforts needed to achieve coordinated actions of all relevant sectors and agencies. And then mechanisms that facilitate the functional coordination are important for them. So many countries shared their experience in terms of their existing mechanisms. So we found that many countries do have a formal body already, for example, National Biosafety Committee. So that those countries that I listed there have confirmed that they have this formal body, and then they informed us that various sectors are involved, for example, agriculture, health, environment, and trade and industry, finance, and then science and technology. So those are the body that's commonly shared as an existing mechanism from the country. However, the roles of such coordination mechanisms we found pretty much vary among countries. And some countries have totally specific roles for this coordination mechanism, and then many other countries have a general coordination mechanism to work together on the topic of biosafety. For example, Zimbabwe, Turkey, Spain, Germany, and some other countries informed us that they use this coordination mechanism as a regulatory responsible mechanism for making regulations, enforcing, and then also the compliance. Also, some countries like Ghana, Japan, Spain, Uganda, they told us they have this provision of scientific advice function, specifically conducting a risk assessment. So this is one specific task that this coordinating mechanism has. Also, some other countries are saying that this mechanism has this real activity to coordinate actions and then also the information sharing task. For example, Mauritius, Cuba, Belgium, Mexico, Iran, and other countries said that they do have a functional interagency coordination task given to this coordinating mechanism. Philippines, Cuba, Laos, they said that the harmonization of the regulations, procedures, standard setting procedures, those are the tasks for this coordinating mechanism. And in Moldova, South Korea, some other countries said basically the task for this mechanism is to collecting the information and sharing the information and data. So we found that although the name of the coordinating mechanism sounds similar, the roles can be quite different among countries. It was interesting that we found that there are some informal mechanisms that could also work well, reported during the discussion. Canada told us that they have a monthly informal teleconference to update each other on the status of the risk assessment of the same GM event in terms of the environment risk assessment, food safety assessment, feed assessment. They are conducted at a different agency, but then they do have this teleconference, informal teleconference to discuss the status and progress and so forth. And Japan also told us that they have an informal network exist to casually communicate, informally communicate among different safety sectors, for example, environment safety sector and food safety sector. So this is something that is working actually in Japan. And then there are quite a few challenges identified by many countries. Basically, it was quite fundamental, but then lots of countries told us that actually establishing this effective formal framework itself is a challenge for some people, some countries, because it requires high-level decisions such as approval by the parliament. And then also these procedures and process to get approval takes long time. So it takes so much time to actually get this mechanism to be working. So Bhutan, Rwanda, other countries told us about this. And in Kazakhstan, we have one participant in this session, but he told us that there is actually no communication mechanism established. So it is very difficult. And then also the Malaysia, Laos, and some other countries told us that there is no very clearly defined roles and responsibilities of this formal framework. And then Japan said, although they have a very good working informal mechanism, the formal mechanism is actually heavily on one sector, which is environment. And then they do have a food safety interagency mechanism, but then sector, intra-sector, sector, this environment sector plus food safety sector coordination is not really formally set up. So that is one challenge. Another big challenge is the awareness issue. The Malaysia, Zimbabwe, Uganda said lack of awareness among stakeholders, policymakers, general public on the importance of the biosafety is really the hurdle for them to really make it aware for to people to really think about the streamlining the issue into the regular governance, the government official activities. And then this kind of low awareness results in insufficient resource allocation. Zimbabwe, Iran, and other countries told us that. And related to this resource issue, that the resource and experience and capacity issue, this is a huge problem for almost all countries, that the human and financial resources are always not enough, of course. And then Belarus and Laos told us that experience in performing risk assessment is quite limited. So as a result, that this is very difficult to bring the technical issue into the coordination. And capacity for detection of GMOs in laboratories, because if there is no scientific basis, it's very difficult to even start the communication and coordination. So this is one challenge. Also, the streamlining the biosafety policy with other national policies I found to be a challenge. And then also transparency and data availability. This is something that Moldova and Iran and some other countries found as a challenge. Then we also asked what could be the roles of international organizations, what we can do to help the national authorities. And then many countries have the databases that we have with the regulatory decisions, environmental risk assessment information, food feed safety assessment information collected as a global databases. They find it very useful. So thank you very much. But Belgium, Spain, and Slovenia mentioned that. And then also some countries said that capacity development and then provision of the training, seminars and workshop could be very important for them to have from the international organizations. And then many countries said that facilitating communication channels for the national authority could be very helpful. For example, Japan provided a concrete suggestion that international organizations could help countries by developing a very simple list of all contact points of different databases. Then everybody knows the exact person to contact or communicate regarding the shared data on the respective databases. This is very simple action, then it's probably very easy and feasible to do, but then it will be probably very important and useful for many people. So this is something that's a very concrete action suggestion from Japan. So as a conclusion that I would say that the discussion achieved to have many participants from various parts of the world exchanging their experiencing lesson learned on national communication coordination mechanism in the area of biosafety. And then we found that it is recommended for all of us, FAO, CBD, OECD, to follow up on all the suggestions and to consider for our future joint webinars or other joint activities, including capacity developing activities. So these are the summary of the e-discussion. Then I would like to hand over my microphone to Manuela, who will facilitate this Q&A session. We have about 10